Now, do I have something for you guys today? Look at the side of these things. These things are LED cob lights. Now, get this right, this is 100 watts. And this is a 60 watt light. These are bicolor as well by Zhiyun. In this video, we're going to be discussing, what these are all about, who exactly they're for, and obviously, are they actually worth it? Let's get into the video. So the Molus X100 is a 100 watt bicolor cob light that weighs only a total of 385 grams. It has a bicolor temperature of 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. It has active cooling with an inbuilt fan into the body. It comes with the X100 battery grip, which provides up to half an hour of power at 100%, and it can be powered through the DC power port. This comes with the Bowens ZY mount reflector in a nice small soft case. Now the Molus G60 is a 60 watt bicolor cob light and weighs a total of 300 grams. It also has the same bicolor temperature of 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin and also has a built-in fan. This can actually be powered through the USB-C port, but only limited with its power. But it has full power through the DC port. It also comes with the same Bowens ZY mount reflector, a small tripod legs. It's all packed in that same size soft case. Now, before we get into the video, we need to talk about pricing because unfortunately pricing is a big determining factor if someone's going to be buying a product. When it comes to lighting, when it comes to lenses, when it comes to cameras, people will just drop thousands and thousands of dollars. But when it comes to lighting, they're like bringing out the coins and they're like, I only got a few cents and dollars. So lighting is probably one of the things that you should be investing in. And these lights are really, really well priced. The Molus G60 by itself ends up being about $199 US, whereas the X100 by itself ends up being $269 US. So these are really competitive price, especially for the specs that we're going to be talking about in this video. So I think the biggest things about these two are the form factor. Now, 100 watt lights are generally not this big. Cob lights are generally a lot larger. You're talking like triple, maybe quadruple the size. They're quite thick and usually quite heavy. This is very light, very small. It literally looks like a point and shoot camera with this one. The form factor is just crazy. I can't believe there's 100 watts in this. It's just incredible of what kind of power they can actually get out of these small form factor cob lights. And I think the crazy thing about these two things is that they can be key lights. If you really wanted to, they could be a key light. You could literally set this up and have it as a main key light, have a 120 centimeter dish, and have really nice, soft, pleasing light. That's a 200 watt light there. And if I swap this 60 watt light out, I could literally replace that light with this. And that means a lot of different things. That means obviously less space. That means less power output because that's a 200 watt. This is a 600 watt. There's so much possibilities with these things. Now, when it comes to accessories and attachments, that's where things get a little bit interesting because believe it or not, this is actually a little softbox with a honey grid that you can attach to it as well. How good is that? That's pretty cool. But the biggest thing when it comes to this is that the larger the light source, the softer the light's going to be. And this is a pretty small softbox. And it is just their new ZY mount here. And that's where things get a little bit interesting because that's where you can actually attach the ZY mount to your standard Bowens mount. And this is where you can attach larger light sources. So, your 120 centimeter softbox or your lantern, whatever you're going to be attaching your standard Bowens mount to create a larger light source, which is going to give you a softer output, which is obviously what a lot of us want. Now, the great thing about this attachment here, it has an umbrella mount built into it as well. So umbrellas are fantastic when it comes to trying to travel light and trying to travel compact because umbrellas obviously fold up really small and then you can extend them out and you can have really, really large umbrellas. And like I said, the larger the light source, the softer the light's going to be. So if you can attach an umbrella into this, you're going to get some pretty nice soft light. Now, this is a full plastic design, but it's not cheap plastic. It doesn't feel really brittle. It actually feels very quality and very sort of sturdy plastic. So I wouldn't really worry about any sort of weight issues or durability issues with this thing. So that's a great thing. Now this one is very interesting. This one is still your mini Bowens mount, but it has this little rubbery, soft dome on the front, which can collapse inside as well. But if you do put it to the outside, it's kind of like a mini sort of lantern, which is really cool. It does actually spread the light quite, around the room. And it is quite soft, but same thing, it is diffused, but it's not a very large light source. So it's not going to be super soft like a larger, softbox. And you can even attach a smaller version onto that very small one, which, is kind of cool. If you don't want that really harsh light, you can utilize this as a relatively soft light. That brings me to my next point is who exactly are these things for? It would have to come down to people who need, light, small form factor lights, because this, if you had, 3 or 4 of these, you could literally fit these into a backpack with all your camera gear. And that's over 400 watts of power when it comes to lights. That's insane when you think about it that way. So you could use this in so many different situations with music videos, documentaries, short films, even feature-length films if you really wanted to, regular YouTube videos, even product photography and videography. There's so much versatility when it comes to lights this powerful and obviously this small as well. And the great thing about this Molus X100 is the versatility of having that battery. So at 100%, you can get about 30 minutes of power through this thing. So if you are doing, short run and gun stuff, this is actually going to be a really, really good option. One of the greatest things that I love using this for is actually having just a regular rim light. Because it is so small and compact, you can pretty much mount this anywhere. And rim lights are very good for interview situations. They're very good for this YouTube sort of situation as well, or anything that you just require an extra rim to pop your character away from the background. One of the most interesting things about the X100 is this battery system they got on the side. You can literally connect it to the side and you've got this battery powered option, which gives you 100% output. Now, when it comes to Zhiyun, this isn't their first rodeo. They've got the 5-ray series, which is like your little LED panel, which is very similar to this, but it's just an LED panel. And then you've also got the LED sort of tube light version. Now they've got these 2 different versions, the Molus version, which they're cob lights. And so this is their first sort of iteration of their cob systems. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to put the G60 up here, the 60 watt light, in replace of my Godox SL 200 watt light, which is mainly my key light. And this is the result. This is the 60 watt light by Zhiyun. It's at 100%, so I can probably dial it down just a little bit, but it's a very similar look to what I'm getting with my 200 watt light that's mainly up here in all of my videos. And I could use this as a key light. I really, really could. I think one of the biggest situations if you're trying to use this as a key light is that at 100%, it's only 60 watts output. So you're not going to get, crazy amounts of light. And if you are trying to battle other light sources and really just balance the scene out, you probably won't get it with this light. But wow, I am very surprised. And if a lot of people get this as a main YouTube light, a lot of people get it as a nice hair light, rim light, this thing is impressive. Wow, well done, Zhiyun. Well done. Now, judging by the lumetri scopes, I'm actually going to be comparing it against the Nanlite Forza 60B, which is its competitor, but you got to think about the pricing here as well. The 60B does seem like it's outputting just a little bit more power when you compare it to the Molus G60. Now I'm going to show you a scene from a short film that I actually just shot, and I'm still shooting it, but I used these 2 lights, plus I did use the Nanlite 60B as well with the projector mount, and that's what I need to talk about as well, as I really would love to see Zhiyun, if they're serious about the lights, start producing a projector light, because there aren't many companies out there that are actually producing the projector light, plus the Gobo set as well. So you can see here, this guy is playing PlayStation, and essentially what I'm doing here is the Molus G60 is behind him for the rim light, and it's actually utilizing that little softbox with the honey grid just so I can put it directly onto his head / shoulders. And then at the front, I've actually got the X100 attached with a very large softbox, so it creates a nice soft light coming from the front as if it's the TV. Then I've got a little LED light which is actually giving me that TV sort of flicker effect. and then the Nanlite 60B with the projector mount on the back wall, which is actually projecting a window effect onto the wall, just to give it something a little bit more interesting, which you would see in a wider shot. So anyway, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. That would be amazing. Obviously, the link will be in the description below if you do want to check out this light. And I mean, it's a thumbs up from me. The size, the form factor, just the versatility, it's bicolor. It's just a great light, and you cannot go wrong with something this small. It's amazing. But anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Let's get it.